On the Mitch Rich Show, issues are highlighted. Dr. Michelle E. is changing lives, yeah. On the Mitch Rich Show.
Well, welcome to another episode of The Mitch Rich Show. I'm Dr. Michelle, your host, and today we'll be talking about Christians in the film industry. And our guests will be none other than Christel and Howard Gibson. Christel and Howard are the principals of Gibson Films, and they're the executive producers and writers of this new series. Well, actually, it's going to be season 2 of the series Double Cross. And we want to welcome them today to the Mitch Rich Show because we know this is going to be so exciting because we have already seen the trailer and we know what's coming. So here it is.
Dr. Cross.
You're more beautiful than I ever imagined.
Yeah.
I don't like playing God.
You're in the wrong line of business, baby girl.
The streets would be safer with him behind bars.
And you are?
His twin sisters.
One's a doctor and one's a drug-pushing criminal.
Oh, I wasn't even ready
For what?
for all of that.
What do we have?
12-year-old girl found beat.
And whoever did this to her needs to be gutted with a dull knife.
He was part of that sex trafficking ring that's going down right in our neighborhood.
I'm in this with you.
And boss up.
There's this whole other dark side to you.
I've killed 2 men in a 24-hour period.
I'm from the same hood as him.
I am not letting you walk away that easily.
Doctors just don't go around killing people.
Crazy ones do.
I know evil when I see it.
Just let me go. I'll never say a word. No, you won't. You'll be dead.
Well, welcome back to the Mitch Rich Show. But our focus today is on their latest series 2 for Double Cross. And, I watched the trailer with Dr. Epps and, it was just like, wow, amazing. So, Howard, I'm going to start with you. What are your feelings? Because what we're really, as I said earlier, we're talking about Christians in the film industry, but our focus is really on Double Cross today. So what are your feelings now on Double Cross? And then we'll get to the Christians aspect of it.
I'm excited about Double Cross season 2. We touched a lot of subjects last season when it comes to human trafficking, child trafficking, as well as in the midst of how cops handle, kids in the inner city. And it did a lot. I mean, I was shocked by the response we got, and I think we hit the needle on the head with it. So I'm happy to open up this a subject that many people don't talk about, and I think this season we dive into a lot more and deeper onto the roots of how these things happen, and in the generational cycle of it and all. So I'm excited about it. I want people to see it, and touch these bases that it's really sticky in many houses, and people don't talk about it. So at least we can open up the forum, and I think Double Cross season 2 is going to give you all of it.
Well, season 1 really did, because it took me to watching it, and even just the infidelity part of it with Dr. Epps and how she decided to take this on with her brother. Christel, as a woman, and we know human trafficking is mainly for us females. We are the ones that are mainly affected by it. How do you feel when you watch your production, just to know that you're making such an impact on the film industry and on the youth?
I feel that we were extremely bold. As my brother said, we hit on a topic that's not talked about on television, and really not amongst ourselves as much. So I thought when I first wrote it, I was not sure how the audience was going to take it. Actually seeing this on screen, but once the project was put together and then it premiered, and the audience really just accepted it. It grew a huge audience past what we expected, and even the network. So for me, I was very, very proud of that. and it was a very bold thing for us to do. But we made a statement with it, and so here we are, going into season 2 with it. But it was just extremely important, even being a female myself, that women know about this, because we gained an audience with the teenagers too, which they need to be extremely careful. And I think we, relayed that with our story.
And for both of you, just real quickly, as we talk about Christians in the film industry, because you know how sometimes they try to box us in as Christians. You can't do this, you can't write this, you can't show this, you can't reveal this. How do you feel about in this time about Christians in the film industry?
We're in a day of transparency. We've always, as Christians, we're supposed to be transparent. And I think this is an exercise of the deeper parts of being transparent, the deeper parts of truths, and how, as Christians, we can, deal with the situation, and what's really going on in and around us. And that was really important for me because, we're PKs. Crystal and I are PKs, so for me, I'm like, I always sit back and say, how are people going to receive it? But hopefully they'll really understand that what Double Cross is doing is just really unfailing and just being as honest as we can in a creative way to talk about issues that we just don't talk about, and as Christians, I think we need to, create some sort of platform so that we can say, hey, this is what's really happening, how we have to deal with it. Right now, 2021 is about transparency, and dealing with very difficult subject matters is going to be what you're going to see in season 2.
Christel, how do you feel about as a female also? And we are ridiculed more than anybody. In the film industry, when you're writing, and what's in your mind, as a female, and how does this affect us as females in the Christian faith?
You being a female in the industry in and of itself, you have to put on that full armor, and you have to make your presence known. As far as Hollywood goes, we are considered at the lower end of the totem pole. So when I'm writing, I know that I have to do my very best. I don't have a choice. And I wouldn't write it any other way. But I feel like that I have to be louder when I walk in the room. I have to be in the room prepared to fight, or even being on set as the showrunner, and I'm running a set of 100 people who, the guys may walk past me and go to someone else because they don't even realize that I'm the showrunner because I'm a female. You know what I mean? So I really have to stand strong and be vigilant while I'm on set. And then I also have to do that in my storytelling. And my goal whenever I tell a story is to always be original. That's very, very important to me, especially when you have so many stories that have already been told, and you may have to take a certain subject that's been told and you have to find a way to twist it somehow so you can keep some sort of originality to it. And so I press towards the mark to do that.
So where can we see Double Cross? And it's going to be launched on premiered on January 14th. So where can we watch it? How can my viewers see it as we continue to talk about the quest of getting human trafficking out there and people knowing about it?
Also UMC is going to announce All Black Network, which is going to be a new rebranding of UMC and WeTV combining. That should be something that'll market this week, and then you'll see more promotions in the coming week or so, and we'll launch out on the 14th. So just to be clear, that's going to be out there, and it'll be a big rebranding, and so everybody will see that, and so we'll move out from that point.
UMC, soon to be the All Black Network on your Roku television. It's a streaming channel just like Netflix or Hulu. And the founder is Bob Johnson, who created BET. And so when he left BET, he started another network called UMC, and as my brother just stated, which is now going to be rebranded to the network All Black. So you can get to it via Roku online. The subscription is about $5 per month. And right now, as they're doing this new branding, they have a 30-day free subscription for it.
Wow, so we gotta get in real quick, early, so because free sounds good to most persons. But thank you so much, Christel and Howard, for being on the Mitch Show today. And we're definitely looking forward to January 14th for the release of season 2 of the Double Cross, right? Double Cross. So we're looking forward to season 2 of Double Cross.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're saying UMC and All Black is gonna be joined together. Awesome. Thank you so much. God bless.
On the Mitch Rich Show.
Stay tuned as we welcome our next guest, none other than actress Stacy Rose. We'll be right back after the break. Well, welcome back to the Mitch Rich Show, and of course today we're talking about Christians in the film industry, and we have with us the beautiful none other than Stacy Rose Warburton. And listen, she is just such an amazing woman of God, and not just that, she's also an actress. And you know, she's just dabbling in producing as well, and a lot of you all know her from WAVS fame as a radio personality. Stacy, how are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you so very much for having me, and congrats on the show and all that you're doing with it.
Thank you so much. Well, HBO's Baller is with me today, so I'm excited, because I know you did such an awesome stint on that, and I just saw your trailer on Life. Let's take a look at the trailer Life before we proceed.
Tell me, what is your perspective on life, Dr. Hathaway?
How many patients do you have?
Looks like 6.
Can you handle that?
I just feel like I'm drowning under all the pressure.
I don't know how much longer I can go on like this, because sometimes I think it might just be better to be dead.
I had this very disturbing dream last night. You had fallen into a ditch, and I extended my hand to pull you up, but then you began to slip. Turned out it wasn't a ditch after all. It was a cliff. You were hanging off a precipice, dangling.
Spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out.
That was amazing, Stacey. That was truly amazing. Just to see you in that, it's like, wow, just a different side of Stacey Rose. Tell them a little bit about who Stacey Rose is.
I'm an island girl, born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica. And, I've lived here in the States for many years. And I've always had a love for the performing arts. My mom tells a story of me being about 3 years old, and she took me to a show, and I disappeared, and I ended up on stage with the performers, the missing child. Someone please come get your child. One of those children. So I've always had a love for the performing arts, and I went to traditional college, had a master's degree, etc., and then decided to continue pursuing acting. And I started in theater, commercials, film and TV, and now I'm producing dabbling with the writing, and I've always done radio as well. So total love for the performing arts.
Life really is life, but this one kind of focused a little bit about on mental illness. Tell me a little bit of why you think the producers went that direction.
Yeah, so one of the things that I've always wanted to do in my heart, I've always wanted to tell stories that move people, tell stories that mean something, that can speak to actual life. Life is messy. Life is not beautiful. Life is beautiful, but it's not devoid of its issues and its trouble and its problems. Right. So the writer of life used to be in the psychological profession, right? So she decided to tell this story about so many professionals who are in the medical field who are dealing with their own issues while medicating and treating their patients. So the story is about a woman, a psychologist who has a lot of darkness in her life. And while treating her patients, she has to come face to face and come to terms with the issues that she's dealing with. And then she makes a decision to actually try to fix it, get the help that she needs in order to move on. So it's very true to life.
As a Christian woman in the film industry, tell me a little bit about how you decide on your roles and, how does that affect you really?
Wow, it's a real challenge. It's it's a real challenge. Sometimes, I wake up and I'm like, God, what are you doing? What are you doing? I could have been an accountant. I could have been a lawyer or something easier, but it's a real struggle because the content of the business. But I feel like God has called me to it. So if he's called me to this, he must have something in store for me. So it's just approaching every role and every opportunity prayerfully and saying, God, the doors that are mine, please open them. And the doors that are not mine, please close them. So there are many things that I've wanted to do. And in my own natural mind, I feel like, I should be further along. But I know that God drives my vehicle. He is in control of my life. So I will go where he wants me to go in the timing that he wants me to go. So I just try to be as prepared as possible. Success happens when preparation meets opportunity. So I try to stay prepared. So when those opportunities come, I'm just ready to go. And I give it all to God and allow him to work it out.
In this last minute, I know a lot of times we feel boxed in. But what would you say to an aspiring Christian actress that really wants to pursue, but is the fear as taking them over, based on what is, the religiosity of our faith?
Right. I feel like God has put a little indication of what he wants for us in this life in our hearts. So I think when we're growing up and we feel like we want to do this or we feel like we want to do that, that's God's little imprint, his little clue that this is what I want for you, right? So it starts there, acknowledging and recognizing that the fact that you have this dream means that it's an indication of what God has for you, right? And then secondly, it boils down to a relationship with Jesus Christ. You really have to find your grounding in him because you need to be able to hear his voice when you're going out and you're making the decisions and you're taking the path that you need to take. You need to be able to hear him. And it's easier if you're focused and you're honing in on that relationship. So I would encourage anyone, you feel that direction, that pulling, that is God saying, hey, this may be where I want you to go. And then you just spend time with him. You really have to focus on that relationship. And in focusing on that relationship, you get so much clarity, because it's a load off my back when I can say, God, I'm just going to leave this up to you. Whatever you want me to do, I'm just going to be ready to do it. And I give him the responsibility and I still do my part, try to prepare, get my headshots together, get my reel together, do my acting classes, whatnot, because I feel this is the path he wants me to be in. So if the same for anyone listening, you feel that God has you in a certain path, just do your best to be prepared to use what's in your hand. And you focus on your relationship with him and allow him to guide you and direct you and open the doors that are for you. So be encouraged. God is working. We can't figure it all out, but just know that he's working and he'll give you enough for that day.
Thank you so much, Stacey, for being on the Mitch Rich Show today. 30 seconds. What's next for Stacey?
So there's some projects that we're in post-production on that we shot before COVID and even a little bit in the beginning of COVID. So we're just getting those out. And I'm being intentional this year about writing. I know that God has put some stories in my heart, and I'm going to just allow him to use me where that's concerned. And also radio, he's called me to radio. So I do a program called Island Parades that's syndicated in the Caribbean and Africa. And I know he's doing something there. So my job this year is just to be available and to hone in on him and allow him to lead me.
Thank you so much, Stacey. Always a pleasure. I'm so excited about your future, and I know God is doing great things in you and through you in the ministry that he has given you in the industry. Thank you again. In closing, it is evident that as Christians, we're tasked to go out into the world and make fishers of men. How are we going to do that if we stay boxed in? We have to go into the world and let our light shine so that others may see and God will get the glory. Here on the Mitch Rich Show, we highlight issues and change lives. Remember to follow us on all our social media platforms. On Instagram, we are GetvisionedTV, Facebook, GetvisionedTV, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, GetvisionedTV Official. I am Dr. Michelle E., your host of The Mitch Rich Show. See you next time.